Hello there guys, welcome to Luna's World and another X-Plane11 video for you today, and we're going to be looking at the Bermuda Triangle. We're going to be doing a little flight. I'm going to be talking about what it is, and we're in the Arabesque and we're currently at Bermuda International. So what is the Bermuda Triangle? Well, it's an area that stretches over 500,000 square kilometers, starting at Bermuda in the North Atlantic and then stretching all the way down to Miami, and then from Miami to Puerto Rico and then back up to Bermuda. The best way I can show you actually is on good old Sky Vector. So I'm just going to drag this into the view and you can see here hopefully. So Bermuda is here, that's where we are currently. So 909 miles down to Miami, and then from here down to Puerto Rico and then up. So this is the area that where things happen. Aircraft and ships have gone missing, weird sightings and all sorts of weird stuff. But let's we'll get into that in a second. Let's take off. So we've been asked to do a mission by the US government to do a bit of a tour. We're not going to obviously be able to cover that wide area, but we're going to do a little bit of a recce around the area close to Bermuda, in a kind of a triangle sort of pattern. I've got some headings here, and we're just going to keep an eye out and see if there's anything out of the ordinary. That's the plan. So we're going to taxi on out, and we're pretty much good to go here up on the flight deck. So I'll just release the brakes and we'll get rolling. So I'm using ortho scenery, as you'll see. It's pretty stunning stuff. So yeah, I don't know, the Bermuda Triangle is fascinating on many levels. It's also known as the Devil's Triangle, and yeah, it's a lot of mysterious things have gone on. I'm not a big believer in the extraterrestrial and the supernatural and all that sort of thing, and there are some theories about that. I'm not really going to be concentrating on those during this video, but we are going to be looking at some of the natural explanations and also some of the incidents that have happened, just to give you a bit of knowledge. I have obviously been reading up about this and to do the video, and it's fascinating.
Check engine.
So we're going to take off from here. Just put a stage of flap down.
Engine.
Now you'll notice a slight issue we've got at the end of the runway. I don't know if you can see that,
Check engine.
but we have a fire, and I don't know why it's here. I've reloaded it a few times. It still seems to be here. Maybe that's something you can check out in your version and see whether you've got a fire here. But anyway, we have, and we've got to contend with it. We're going to try and take off, fly over it, and hopefully we won't crash as a result. So here we go. All right, and rotate, and positive rate.
Gear up.
And as you can see, it's a pretty extensive fire we got there. Not good. Not good at all. So hopefully they're on the case and they're trying to put that out. There's even the sea's on fire. Not good. How weird. Well, I suppose we are in the Bermuda Triangle. Okay, flaps up. So what we're doing is we're just keeping an eye out for anything unusual. We're going to maintain a fairly low altitude, fly across the islands, have a look around, and as we do that I'll talk about some of the things that have happened over the years, and maybe some possible put forward some possible causes, and I'll be very interested to know what you guys think. So one of the well, I'll just talk about the possible causes first of all, and then I'll try and link in the incidences that I think possibly could explain that. So one of the natural explanations is a compass variation. Now what happens is compasses, as you probably already know, have natural magnetic variations in relation to the magnetic poles. So basically, for centuries, magnetic north and geographic north, or true north, are only exactly the same in a small number. Sorry, I'm over speeding like crazy here because I'm talking too much. So yeah, true north and magnetic north are only the same in a few areas, and not, as far as I'm aware, it's not a constant thing. Those locations change. I might be wrong there, but that's my understanding of it. Maybe you guys can let me know. But anyhow, one of those areas is, of course, in the Bermuda Triangle. So I'm sure you guys might have, you aviation experts have heard of Flight 19, which was a training group of TBM Avenger torpedo bombers. This happened in 1945 during the war, December 5th. And basically they were doing a training exercise out of Fort Lauderdale for 141 miles off, and then they were coming back in a sort of circle, and basically they never returned. They disappeared. And of course the US Navy investigators attributed the disappearance to navigational error, leading to the aircraft running out of fuel. So potentially that could be a case of where the navigation instruments were confused, or more likely the pilot, the chief, the leader of the squadron was confused about the direction due to the magnetic north issues. So there is a great documentary on YouTube that's well worth checking out, and it's dedicated to that flight. So yeah, so that's one possibility. There's also the Gulf Stream. Now this might account for quite a lot of the loss of ships over the years. So the Gulf Stream, as you probably know, originates in the Gulf of Mexico and flows through the Straits of Florida into the North Atlantic. So basically it's like a river within an ocean. And like a river, it can carry floating objects. It has a surface velocity of up to 2.5 meters a second. So in other words, if a small plane making a water landing, or a boat having engine issues, the chances of it getting dragged way out of, into the depths of the Atlantic pretty rapidly are a real threat. So again, that can account for a lot of quote-unquote disappearances. So yeah, I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary just yet. Hopefully we won't. Let's just pop outside. And you can see the pretty decent ortho scenery. We've got a nice little marina there. Pretty nice. Anyway, so the other factor that I want to talk about is weather. Now obviously weather plays a huge part in all things aviation and all things to do with the sea in particular. So obviously boats, and downdrafts of cold air are attributed to things happening, especially in aircraft and also with ships as well. Let me just read you this bit. Most of this information is, by the way, is from Wikipedia and some articles that I've found online. So this is not, I can't take credit for this. But yeah, one of the most, I think, interesting possibilities for sinking ships is the idea, or is the theory, that methane hydrates have caused them. So an explanation, basically, what they think is that there's large fields of methane hydrate, which is a form of natural gas, on the continental shelves. And they've done some experiments in labs and in Australia, and they've proved that bubbles can sink model ships. Now, obviously, to some extent, there's a large difference, large being the operative word, between a model ship and a large ship, but the physics remains the same. So it's been thought that periodic methane eruptions, and if you're a fan of any kind of curry, you might be familiar with that. And then sometimes called mud volcanoes. How disgusting. May produce regions of frothy water that are no longer capable of providing adequate buoyancy for ships. So if that was the case, then an area forming around a ship could cause it to sink very rapidly and without warning. I don't think that's been seen to happen, but it is a potential, it can happen. So yeah, keep looking out the window. I'm not seeing anything out of the ordinary just yet, but we'll see. What we'll do is, let's go out to sea a little bit more, and just increase the throttle a bit. So there's been a lot of notable incidents. I'm not going to go through them all, but Ellen Austin is a very famous one. The USS Cyclops, Flight 19, which I've already mentioned. I'm going to focus on the aviation one. So Douglas DC-3, in December in 1948, disappeared while on a flight from San Juan in Puerto Rico, and absolutely no trace of the aircraft at all the 32 people on board. And there was basically insignificant information to determine any probable cause of the disappearance. That fire really is going some. And then in August 1963, a pair of US Air Force KC-135 Stratotankers collided and crashed into the Atlantic.
Approaching altitude.
There was a guy called Kershey who did an independent review and investigation, reported that the debris field defining the second site crash was examined by a search and rescue ship and found to be a mass of seaweed in driftwood. So there's some doubts about that as well. So these things are very odd and have yet to be identified as acceptable, scientifically proven causes for the disappearances. But whichever way you look at it, some strange things have gone on here. I'm of the firm believer that most things can be explained. It's just that perhaps we don't have the advances in knowledge or technology to be able to do so right now. And I think there are things that we just cannot explain, that maybe we'll never be able to explain due to a number of factors. Don't get me wrong, I would love nothing more than there to be a mystical, supernatural explanation for all this. I think it's highly, highly unlikely. But I also feel it's highly unlikely that we are the only living beings in this universe. So there is that, of course. So I don't know about you, but I'm feeling... And we're back. Wow, what on earth was that? That was totally and utterly bizarre. I have no idea what caused that. Very strange indeed. I think we better get back to the safety of our airfield, and pretty quickly. But that was very odd. So if you don't mind, guys, I'm going to start to head back, but most disconcerting. And we've also got the issue that we've got to land at an airfield that is on fire, and I have no idea why it's on fire, but it seems to be spreading across the island there, so this is going to be very interesting. Yeah, very strange. It's spread all across here now. So we've actually got to go through this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to prepare this aircraft for a landing, and we'll just slow it down a bit, and I'll put the gear down. Okay, gear is going down now.
Gear down.
First stage of flap is going down now. And we're going to do because we're too high, we're going to do just going to cycle round. But that is not looking good. Have you ever seen anything like that? Unbelievable. It would happen, wouldn't it, in the Bermuda Triangle? How very weird. Okay, alright, let's just increase our throttle a bit. Okay, final stage of flap. I thought we were a lot higher than we were, actually. That's really bizarre. We're at 400 feet. How did that happen? I'm not actually playing. Okay, that last episode that we just experienced was planned, but this isn't. I'm going mad. Anyway. How bizarre. Really is behaving oddly. I'm not just saying that. Anyway, let's try and get this thing on the ground through this fire. How bizarre. Very strange. I felt like a stunt plane, Daredevil kind of a dude. I don't actually know if this is going to affect the plane or not. I suspect it probably won't, but I guess we'll find out.
500.
Only in the Bermuda Triangle, eh? Alright, it's saying we're high, but that's probably a good idea given the state of the approach here, but we'll just for fun we'll go through it.
300.
Wouldn't recommend doing this. You'll probably be diverted or come in the other end.
200.
Oh gosh, good God, good luck. Here we go.
100.
Ouch. Ooh. It's,
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
There we go, guys. Can you smell that burning rubber? I can smell something. Perhaps it's a mud volcano. An explosion of methane. Oh dear. Anyway, I hope you found that interesting, guys. You know, I'd really love to know what your thoughts are on the Bermuda Triangle, and I'm sure I've missed out some theories, and I'd love to know more. And yeah, hope you've enjoyed it. I'm trying to think of creative ways of doing flights, not just flying around and talking, but you know, having a purpose and something of interest. So let me know what you think. I've got a few other things in mind, so I can do a few more of these. Well, I can do as many as you like. If you're enjoying them, I'm more than happy to do them because I really enjoy them as well. So there we go. Thanks guys, and please as always like and subscribe, and planning to do some streaming as well soon, so I'll see you very soon. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Check engine.